Live. We're going to be talking about how avoiding delegating tasks may be holding you back as a leader. So, look, I get it. You're probably thinking, well, you could do it faster and more effectively and better than your team. But this is really the wrong way of thinking about it. And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to share with you what's happening as well as what you can do about it. Before I get into that, I've got two big announcements. One is, of course, that I have a limited amount of one-on-one spots that are open. So if you are looking to up-level your leadership, if you are wanting to make sure that how you're identifying yourself as a leader is aligned with how you're showing up, if you are ready to let go of your imposter syndrome or working 60, 70, 80 hours a week because you think you need to, then let's have a conversation and see if you are a great fit for one of those one-on-one spots. As well as I'm going to be doing on Thursday, there is going to be a webinar. I'm going to do a masterclass on breaking free of imposter syndrome and perfectionism. So if you want the link to that, then DM me link and I will make sure that you get the link to that training as well. All right, so let's dive into today why avoiding delegating tasks may be holding you back as a leader. Look, I do get it. I hear this a lot with my different clients, that you think that you're afraid of letting go of the control, because having control and making sure that everything was going just right and that you were doing a lot of the things yourself have been a key part of your success and your achievements to date. So I completely understand why delegating can be more difficult. However, believing that you can always do things faster and better than others is like trying to win a relay race all by yourself. You may be able to run really fast, except you're eventually going to run out of energy and you won't be able to finish that race. So, learning how to delegate and how to trust others is really a key to being a successful leader. And if you continue doing it on your own, like most overstretched leaders will, which is probably what you've been doing, you're going to have nothing else to show for it. Or worse, you're going to find yourself being burnt out, which we want to avoid, because your brilliance is so much needed in this world today. And the leadership that you have and the potential that you have, we need more of in our world today. So, what do all successful, vibrant leaders do? Well, they have all learned to delegate tasks and trust their team members to take responsibilities. So, can you find me any successful leader who didn't delegate and trust their teams? No. So let's talk about how you can start delegating those tasks. I'm going to share with you one of several tools within the Decisive Courage pillar of my Leadership Edge program that my clients use to help with delegating and managing their time, and which you can use to also start that process of getting effective in terms of delegating. And as just a little bit of an aside, this is also something that I'm doing for myself, because I am also starting to delegate to assistants. And I understand if you've been doing a lot of things for a long time because that's what made you successful, then this can be it's almost like a scary and nerve-wracking moment in time. But what you will see, and what you'll see, is that it actually is going to grow your potential as a leader, your ability to lead more effectively and become much more strategic in your role. So I don't want you to be fooled by the simplicity, though, of this tool that I'm going to share with you, because honestly, it looks really, really simple on the surface, but underneath of it, there is a lot of parts that are going to be moving here. So how does it work? Now, I've got a piece of paper and I'll hold it up here, not in front of the mic. So make a matrix. Yeah, so I want you to create a 2x2 matrix. And then we're going to fill out each of these quadrants with the tasks and actions that you have on your plate at work right now. And you can also do this for yourself at home if you like. But let's just concentrate on your work. Now, this could be anything from the different team meetings to making notes to report creation, client follow up, or taking even time for yourself. Because even as a leader in your professional environment, I strongly encourage to make sure that you have time planned into your calendar for your personal development, for becoming thinking about strategy. Where do you want to go? What is your long-term vision and purpose? So all of those things I want you to make sure that you're including, as well as any of the other tasks and activities you're doing. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write at the top right, you're going to put in good at and like doing. All right, so I've just written it down here. So good at and like doing. Now, the second one, the second quadrant, we're going to go to the top left, and we're going to put in that you're good, things that you're good at and that you love doing. All right, so let's look at that. So we've got left is good at and love doing, right is good at and like doing. Now we're going to get into the bottom right, and you're probably going to see, you'll see the pattern really quickly, right? And now we're going to have the bottom right is going to be the things that you're not good at and that you don't like. Yes, so bottom left or bottom right. Bottom right. So I've gone from the right to the left to the right, and now we're going to do that last one. Of course, that is going to be also the things. So the bottom left is going to be the things that you're good at and that you don't like. So here is the completed matrix. So we're going to just hold up here as well as here, the completed matrix of what you're going to fill in. Now, I really want you to take the time to write out those tasks, because what you're going to find is as you grow, I want you to be operating in this top left quadrant. So this top left quadrant of that you're good at and that you love doing, because that is a portion of where your superpower or your zone of genius lies. All right. So for me, as example, I'm just going to use myself as an example here. What I'm good at and I love doing is, of course, coaching, is really empowering and supporting the women leaders that I have as both as clients, as well as through these videos and these live streams. So those are the tasks that I'm going to keep doing because I'm good at them and I love them. However, other portions, which are things that I'm not necessarily as good at or that I don't like to do, are going to start falling off, and I'm going to start outsourcing them or delegating them to team members. The same goes for you. If there is things like if you're finding yourself, for example, also the person that is sending out team invitations, you are writing up the notes afterwards for your team members, you're setting up the accountability structure. Now, while you set it up, it's possible the maintenance of it, the updating of it should really fall within your team. So I really want you to ask yourself how much of the responsibilities that you're taking right now are you doing because you could do it faster and that you could do it better? And how much of those things are you really enjoying doing and that you're really good at? Because when you're focused on that area, then it's going to allow you to accelerate both the potential, your own potential, as well as your own career, as well as you have this, you can use this as an opportunity to develop your own team. Because what we haven't really talked about, I'm not going to get into it very much today, is the fact that if you are doing all the work yourself because you think you could do it better and that you believe you could do it faster, you're actually taking away a chance to continually develop your own team and develop new leaders that could grow into your position, right? So thinking of that succession plan. Now, again, as you operate and accelerate throughout your career, you want to be in that top left, right? Good at and love doing as much as possible. Now, I realize that it's not going to be 100% of the time. There are going to be tasks, administration, or HR tasks, or sales tasks, etc., whatever your function is in your leadership position, there's always going to be tasks that you need to do, you have to do, which you don't like to do. But it is your goal to work towards spending as much time in that top left quadrant as much as possible, because again, that's your zone of genius. And you begin, if you're looking at asking yourself, well, where do I start with tasks that I want to start delegating, or which tasks should I start with? Then you're going to look to the bottom right. These are the things that you don't like and that you're not good at. Get creative in how you do this, right? This you could at work, this could mean you're delegating it to your team members or even your colleagues, or you're finding ways to outsource the task you're doing. Now, I'm going to add a little caveat here as well, because I happened to have this conversation with a client this morning, is also you're going to start looking at things in terms of are you taking responsibility for someone else's role and someone else's action, or are you simply taking your own responsibility? So, for example, if you're a part of a team, you're leading a team, but you need to interact with another team member or another colleague that needs to provide you with information, and they don't. It's Yes, you need to get that information. However, that doesn't mean that you need to start taking responsibility and diving in and taking all the actions that that colleague would need to take in order to provide that insight and input for you. Then you need to really make sure that you hand back that responsibility to that person, as well as maintaining your own responsibility for what you need to do. So also look at it from that perspective. Are you taking on additional tasks that should not actually even be part of your matrix? Because if they shouldn't be, those are also a really good source of items that you could delegate or push back into the right person's responsibility zone. All right. So just as a summary today, what we've covered today is that avoiding delegating might actually be holding you back as a leader and from what you can achieve, and continuously to believe that you could do it faster and better is really getting in your way, because you need to both develop your team, as well as it doesn't allow you to become that strategic and effective leader that you are looking to become, or that you need to become in order to continue to grow your success, your career, and become more successful. So again, just shared, you can go back through the training, this really simplified matrix, a 2x2 matrix. Split your tasks into these 4 quadrants, and you want to stay working as much as possible in that top left quadrant where you're good at and you love doing. And you want to start getting rid of the ones at the very bottom right, not good at and you don't like. All right, so that is it for today. I'm going to leave you with a last couple of questions. The first one is, do you want to continuously keep working really hard and doing all of the work yourself? Or are you ready to focus on delegating and trusting your team to do the work so that you can become a more effective and strategic leader? If that's you, don't worry. I have helped over 60 plus women leaders just like you with my courses and programs. So DM me leader to see if you're someone I can help. And again, I've only got a few limited spots of one-on-one coaching that is available at this moment in time. And the last little point to note is I'm also going to be doing a webinar this week on breaking free of imposter syndrome and perfectionism, sharing 3 proven strategies that the 60 plus women leaders who I've worked with have used to break through their self-doubt, their imposter syndrome, and their perfectionism in order to become a highly effective and strategic leader as well. All right, I'm going to leave you there. If there's any questions, there's any comments, please drop them either in the chat below, in the comments below, or you can always DM me with any of your questions that you have. And thank you for listening today. And I'd really love to hear how this tool has helped you and how you are going to be using this tool for yourself today. All right, we'll talk to you again soon.